Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, living in Northwest Wisconsin. I'm Ben Wheeler, local realtor in the area. And today's video, we're gonna talk about the housing markets in Polk and Burnett counties. We're about halfway through the year, so this is gonna be a year-to-date type of video. All the data is coming from MLS sources. Let's just jump right into the data. Let's start with new listings. Again, this is all year to date. Fresh inventory has hit the market. So in Polk County, we've had 387 new listings. That's down about 13.6% from this time last year. And when we saw 448 by this time had hit the market. But if you look back 2 years, Polk County is still well ahead of the 326 new listings that we saw in June of 2024. So by this time 2 years ago, we are ahead of that. So sellers pulled back a bit from last year's surge, I guess you would say, but they're still showing up in bigger numbers than they were a couple years ago. Burnett County kept climbing also. New listings came in at 225. That's up about 7% compared to June of by this time last year. And then in June of 2024, the sellers activity has been building steadily over the last 3 years. So overall, new inventory still flowing. Even Polk County cooled off a little bit from new listings of this time last year. Burnett County is seeing a little bit of an increase. Now let's look at active inventory. So this is just how many homes are just on the market at this point compared to previous years. Polk County, there were 136 active homes for sale. That's down about 8.1% from last year at this time. But if you compare it to the June of 2024, there was 105. So you can see inventory is still up about 30% over the last 2 years. Buyers have more choices than they did just a couple summers ago. So good news for buyers. Burnett County also kept growing, 90 homes for sale this time compared to this time last year. That's up about 13.9% compared to last year and up 67% from June of 2024. More homes on the market gives buyers room to be a little more selective, and it means that sellers really need to focus on pricing and presentation to stand out in the market. Pending sales tell us how many properties went under contract, right? So a good read on the overall real-time buyer demand. In Polk County, there were about 270 pending sales, essentially the same compared to last year. Polk County has held a higher demand compared to previous years. In Burnett County, there were 127 pending sales. That's down just a little bit, about 2.3% compared to this time last year, but still ahead of where it was in this time in 2024. So Burnett County buyers, the demand, it's steadily increasing. Bottom line, buyers are still active and still writing offers in both counties. Let's look at closed sales. This shows us what actually made it across the finish line. So in Polk County, so far year to date, 242 sales. That's down about 5.8% from last year, which was 257, but still above where it was in 2024 at this time when there was only 214 closings. So even with a little bit of a pullback, market is still more active than it was previously 2 years ago. Burnett County has seen 124 closed sales. That's up about 9.7% from last year at this time. Burnett County's closings have also been trending upwards. Both counties are still closing and appear to have healthy markets overall. Let's talk a little bit about how fast homes are moving. So the median days on market. So this is a big number for sellers. Polk County, so far this year, the median days on market is 47 days. That's down about 2% compared to this time last year. Compare that to 36 days back in 2024. So we are adding days on market compared to what we were a couple years ago. Burnett County saw a median jump of 50 days on market. That's 35%. That's from 37 days just this time last year and up from where it was in 2024. That's the most time Burnett County homes have really been on the market in a few years now. So across both counties, the market has slowed its pace compared to 2024. Buyers are taking a little more time to make decisions, and sellers should plan for just a little bit longer days on market. And with that said, you really need to be competitive with your pricing and marketing. Now the number everyone wants to know, median sales price. Okay, so Polk County's median sales price was $331,000. That's up a little bit, about 1.9% compared to this time last year. And it's almost up 7% compared to what it was in 2024. So prices are still holding steady and climbing compared to what they were a couple years ago. Burnett County, a little bit of a different story there. They actually went down about 5.6%, down to 322,000, but it's still well ahead of where they were in 2024. So values are still up and holding steady. Overall, home values in both counties remain above where they were in 2024, even with the month-to-month movements where the values are holding. All right, let's talk a little bit about lender-mediated sales, foreclosures, bank-owned properties, however you want to classify those at. So in Polk and Burnett counties, we have seen no influx of foreclosures coming in. Both counties have seen dramatic sustained drops in distressed properties coming to the market. Over the past decade, you can really see there's been no negative pressure by bank-owned properties.